Welcome into what is week 14 of the LL Football Roundtable show, brought to you by Bobby Rahal. Lexus is the Thanksgiving week edition. A couple things different this week. We weren't able to get out to a practice at the start of the show that we usually do at the top, and also we had to record a day earlier, which is why our colleague Mike Rose at a Penn State football press conference unable to make it today. Kicker holder, we're going to tee it up for you and make this work on what is week 14, and we have three LL League, Lancaster-based teams anyway, and 5 overall LL League teams still playing in what will be district finals coming up this coming weekend, Friday and Saturday. Before we get to that, just kind of want to give a shout out to a few teams that ended their seasons last week in district semifinal games. Hempfield, 42-7 losers to Manheim Township in 6A. Cocalico, 32-8 losers to Cocalico in 5A. Lampeter-Strasburg, 42-6 loss in Class 4A to Manheim Central. Kudos to all 3 of those teams. Incredible seasons. LS to be able to continue rolling along with what they've been doing these last handful or so years. Cocalico getting to a district final for the first time in 7-8 years.
As a 1 seed, and Hempfield as a 1 seed.
And then Hempfield with what they were able to accomplish, winning a section title first time since 1984? Something like that. Since
94 outright.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And then winning at Wilson for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
And you know, kind of getting that ship steered to where it's now it's Township, Wilson, Hempfield, and the regular discussion year in, year out. George Eggers done a great job there.
Yeah,
so
good job all 3 of those. Got to see all those 3 teams quite a bit. Hempfield and Cocalico 1 seeds. LS, here they are again.
And here we go into the district finals. We're going to start in Class 6A. This game is going to be on Saturday.
Yes.
Do we know the kickoff time yet?
1 p.m. in Harrisburg.
And this will be at Harrisburg. District 3 Class 6A championship game. Manheim Township, the 5 seed, 9-3 overall, going to Harrisburg, the 3 seed, 9-2 overall. Township last week, as we said, took care of business against LL rival Hempfield, and they, avenged a Week 5 loss to Hempfield. They lost 17-14. They won big against Hempfield, which I point out to say, back in Week 3 of this season, Manheim Township went to Harrisburg, won that game 24-20.
Yes,
I believe you're at that one, right?
I covered that game, and it was a crazy game. Kind of back and forth. Township blocked 2 punts, including they got a block punt and got great field position late, kind of waning minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute range. Hayden Johnson to Asher Wolf, touchdown, like a minute to go. Harrisburg got the ball back, got to around midfield, couldn't hit the Hail Mary, and Township wins. So they have that under their belts. They've been to Harrisburg. They've played there against the Cougars on that field, and they beat them.
And I think, if I recall, you told a story of after the game, Coach Evans was telling his guys, hey, remember this, it's Week 3, but more than likely we might see this team down the road.
He said, hey guys, we already played Cumberland Valley, and they got us. And we just came here and we beat Harrisburg. Remember these games, learn from these games, because we're going to see these teams again. And wouldn't you know what they did? They saw Cumberland Valley again, got the payback, and now they're going to see Harrisburg again. Township's got to be pretty confident, I think. They axed Hempfield. That's their rival. They put 42 up on their rival on Hempfield's field. That's a huge win for Township. I think they're feeling pretty good here, knowing they've already beat Harrisburg, but kind of a different Harrisburg team.
Yeah, Harrisburg has some horses where Township did a good job taking away the run game and getting up big, forcing Hempfield to go through the air. They had, 4 takeaways by the end of last Friday, whereas Harrisburg, they got some guys. A couple names I'll mention here. Their senior running back, Mekhi Hopkins, just looking at his Twitter the other night, he's taken visits to Morgan State, to Virginia Tech.
Nice.
Their leading receiver, Kyle Williams, he has a 500 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. He's a Temple commit. Their leading tackler, Terrell Reynolds, 101 tackles, 29 tackles for loss.
That's crazy.
So they got it. They bring it on both sides of the ball. And Township has the size, they have the depth. So you would think this is going to be another good matchup, but Week 3 is completely different from Week 14.
Totally gone. I'm glad you mentioned the Reynolds kid. D-end, 101 tackles, 29 for loss, 19 and a half sacks.
Wow.
So I've been writing about this in the previews this week. Township O-line, they got to play here because Harrisburg can bum rush. They can get to the quarterback. Johnson's been great. And he gets it out of there, 3-step boom.
And the thing is, Johnson spreads the ball around. He spreads the wealth. It's not just, Landon Kendall's the guy with the leading receiver, but if Hayden has to, he can get it to multiple targets.
Yes, he can. He's got 4 kids with 30 plus catches, which is really impressive. But he's got to 1, 2, 3, get it out because this Reynolds kid can get in the backfield.
We should give a shout out to Township in the sense that they lost their leading rusher, Jake Laubach.
Yeah, he hasn't played in 6
week
weeks.
3, something like, or so it was mid-season. And here they are, Deck and Clancy, just kind of filling in that hole and continuing to chug along. All right, District 3, Class 5A.
Yes.
We have number 12 seed Cocalico, the Cinderella of what has been the District 3 football playoffs. They're 9-4 overall, going to top seeded Exeter. 12-0 for the first time in program history. This game Friday, 7 o'clock, normal start. And Cocalico, this is a team that, we're used to seeing them on the stage. I think it's the third time in 5 years that they're in a district final, the 10th time overall. Thanks to you for those notes. But however, it's a little bit different this year because of their regular season schedule. They had some losses in there, so they go in as a 12 seed, but it's a little bit deceptive. And man, are they clicking on all cylinders now? Yes. They showed it last week and taking care of business against Cocalico.
Against Cocalico, yeah. 6 wins in a row. Their defense has been great. And their rushing game, they have found it. This Sam Steffi kid is just playing out of his mind. In 3 playoff games, Steffi has 600 rushing yards on the dot and 7 touchdown runs, I want to say, in the last 3 weeks. 1,700-yard rusher now with 22 touchdowns. Cocalico went over 4,000 rushing yards for the season last week. Mm-hmm. So you know what's coming with Cocalico. Mm-hmm. Josh Myers making all the right reads. He's been fantastic at quarterback the second half of the season. He kind of wrestled that full-time job away. He's taken it and run with it. He's been great, giving the ball to Steffi. O-line's been great, and their defense has been really good. Steffi's, Cocalico's 4 losses. LSYO, Central, Solanco.
Wow.
Those teams are 43-5, and 2 of them are still playing.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're battle-tested.
They are battle-tested. Here they are, third time in 5 years as the 12. A 12 seed has never won a district championship.
Well, how long have we had 12 seeds around as well, too, with the expansion of these playoffs?
Yeah, I think I read
beyond like 5A, always having 16 teams or whatever it was. So
I think I read the lowest seed that's ever won a championship.
But still, to do what they're doing, winning every Friday on the road in the playoffs.
That's right. These have all been road games.
Yeah.
The lowest seed that's ever won a District 3 title is an 8.
Oh,
they're trying to do it as a 12. Yeah, I just read that.
Stat.
Somebody had it. I'm giving credit to whoever had it first. I forget who it was.
2 key things I'm watching here.
Yeah.
Our buddy Jason Garanti, our colleague, wrote about this last week when Cocalico beat Solanco. He gave credit to the Cocalico defensive line and Chucky Drain, Owen Weaver, Logan Brubaker, and Derek Balzinski. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. You don't know either.
You're close.
And I bring that up to say they're going to face a really big and talented offensive line in Exeter. Penn State recruit Jevin Williams, Delaware recruit Anthony Cachesi, and then Lucas Palange, who I believe is getting like low-level D1 looks and probably multiple D2 looks somewhere along those lines. All of this to say they're a really big, really good offensive line. So interior when Exeter's on offense, Cocalico's on defense, and then obviously Cocalico, their flex bone offense. They like to run the ball. How has Exeter done against the run this year? Well, they're holding opponents to 76 rushing yards per game.
Number 1 rush defense in the league. Number 2 overall defense in the league.
So you would think, again, Cocalico control the game, or as far as, slow pace on offense, control the clock, possession game. Don't get down big and early on and try to at least hang in there till the end.
Yeah, I think I read Cocalico has 0 turnovers in the playoffs.
Wow.
So they're finishing drives and scoring a lot. 40 plus against E-Town, 30 last week, 23 against Gettysburg. Cocalico has found it. They are, I hate even calling them a Cinderella. I mean, third time in 5 years they're playing for a district championship. It's Cocalico.
Right.
People know around here that this is a good program.
Yeah.
And just got to throw that seed out. I'm not stunned that they're here.
Sure.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not.
All right, and then moving on to District 3, Class 4A championship game. Manheim Central, the Barons 11-1 overall, going to top-seeded Bishop McDevitt 10-1 overall. This game is Friday, however, it's a 6 p.m. kickoff. Note the early start time. Last week, Manheim Central beat number 3 seed Lampere Strasburg 42-6. Meanwhile, Bishop McDevitt beat number 4 seed Twin Valley 47-3. So both coming off lopsided wins. Looking at this Bishop McDevitt squad the other night, they're loaded as far as talent and D1 offers. It seems like Boston College has offered probably half their team, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. But what's kind of your takeaways going into this? Because they're 2 really talented teams, and it seems like they match up pretty well.
Yeah. Kind of amazingly, these are the 2 winningest programs, obviously, in District 3 history. They both have 61 District 3 wins. Central has 18 titles. McDevitt has 15. Central playing in its 23rd championship game. McDevitt playing in its 19th. This is only the third time they've met in districts. And the first two times were 2013 and 2014. McDevitt won both. The 2014 game was Mike Williams' final game as Central's coach. You would think McDevitt and Manheim Central, different classifications. You would think they would have played a lot somewhere over the years, but they really haven't. This is only the third time. These are the granddaddy programs of District 3 with, Cumberland Valley, et cetera. But wow, that's my first takeaway is, wow, McDevitt's playing Manheim? Yes, please. Talent all over the place. Wow, you were right about the McDevitt guys. Stone Saunders, we got to mention him, the quarterback, 3,000 passing yards. 44 touchdowns, 1 pick. Wow.
I was looking at his Twitter the other night. He's visited Maryland, Clemson, Texas A&M, Georgia, Wisconsin. I'm probably missing a few others. He does have offers from Boston College and a couple other schools. And he's a Manheim native, correct?
Well,
Lancaster County.
Lancaster County. Okay. I don't know if they actually lived in Manheim, but
so
over there in that Mount Joy kind of range, yes.
And then you go down the list. Wide receiver Jair Rawlinson has a Boston College offer. Running back, linebacker, DN Maurice Barnes has a Boston College offer. And then wide receiver D-back Tyshawn Russell has offers from Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Maine, Central Michigan. So they're loaded. And then you look at the other side and, hey, Manheim Central's got a really good quarterback in Zach Hahn, the junior. 2,000 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, the 3 picks. The running back, Brayson Arnold, you've been talking about him all year. One of X amount of running backs to ever go over 2,000 yards?
Yep, he hit it last week in the LS game. Took him a little while. His first couple carries were 1 yard, 2 yards, 0 yards. He only needed 20. Got it in the second quarter, I think. 2,204 yards for Arnold, special player. Great O-line for Central. That's the first thing he said. I'm not doing any of this without those guys. He's fabulous. Hahn's having a great year, 29 touchdowns, only 3 picks. He's been really solid. Central has weapons as well. They don't have a ton of kids with Boston College offers and all that stuff, but hey, it's Central. It's November. Here they are.
Yep, and we've kind of been looking at this matchup since week 1.
Pretty much, I think since August. I think everybody was like, Central and McDevitt are in 4A?
Right.
Okay, how's that going to fall? Are they going to be in opposite ends of the bracket? This has been the collision course game, and here we go.
You did want to lastly mention in 3A, LL League team in Wyomissing.
They won again, gang. They won their fourth district title in a row.
Final score
63-7. West Perry got the opening kickoff and scored.
West Perry beat Catholic, Lancaster Catholic.
They scored 63 on Catholic. Got the opening kickoff and scored 7-0. I remember looking on Twitter like, oh, wow, Wyo's got a game here. And then they scored 63 unanswered, and they won big. So Wyo goes to states. They play Danville. Nickname?
I couldn't tell you.
The Iron Men.
All right.
Yeah, the Iron Men. Danville, oh my, also 12-0. You ready for this? This stat blows me away. They have eight shutout victories. 8. They're allowing 4.7 points a game.
Wow.
That's it. With 8 shutouts. They had 3 shutouts in a row to open their season. They had 4 shutouts in a row at midseason. Nobody's scoring on these guys. Okay.
Which is important to point out against a Wyo team that just put up 63.
It just put up 63 and runs the wing T and just has not been stopped at all on the ground. Carson Persing, that's tough to say. Carson Persing, wideout for Danville. Career, 221 catches, 4,228 yards, and 59 touchdown catches. 23 this year.
Okay.
Started as a freshman. He's had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Obviously, Danville likes to go up top. So Wyo's secondary here is going to be tested with this Persing kid. I say keep an eye on that. Got to mention this. Wyo, Bob Wolfram, their coach. So glad I got to know him this year. What a great guy. When they beat West Perry, that was his 349th coaching win, passing Mike Williams as the all-time winningest coach in D3 history. So Wolfram is now at the top of that list. He'll go for 350 here against Danville on the road Friday night, 7 o'clock.
Stat.
Wyo is 48-3 in their last 51 games.
Wow. Boom.
That's pretty as Mike would say.
akin to
John,
a
what
mic
do you
drop
got?
with a notepad there.
Yeah.
So those games are all happening this weekend, and
Yeah.
fingers crossed, but we'll be back here at least one more week, still talking some LL League
That'd be
football
nice.
next week. Before we get to that, should wish you guys all, guys and gals, a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. This has been the LL Football Roundtable, brought to you by Bobby Rahal, Lexus.